So the next topic in the S block element and in the general properties itself, in the general properties is termed as hydration. So hydration is the next general properties in the S block element, and in the hydration we will be dealing with hydration of alkali metals. So we will be dealing with the hydration of alkali metals. So first of all, the term hydration means water. So it is a process that is involving the water molecules. Yes. Now to understand this hydration, we are going to consider cations of the alkali metals. So I will write all the cations here. So lithium plus, sodium plus, potassium plus, rubidium plus, cesium plus and francium plus. Now assume that I will take sodium plus and I will take water in a small beaker. So water is taken in the small beaker, and in this water I am going to add sodium plus. Sodium plus is added in the water. Now we know that water molecule is having a bent shape. Water molecule is having bent shape, and oxygen is having higher value for the electronegativity, and it is having two lone pair of the electrons. Since oxygen is having higher value for the electronegativity, oxygen will be carrying delta negative charge and hydrogens will be carrying delta positive charge. Now since oxygen is carrying negative charge and the sodium, which is now present in the water, which is carrying the positive charge, therefore when sodium plus is dropped in the water, it will be having some kind of interaction with the oxygen of the water molecule. So we will see what kind of interaction it is. So sodium plus is dropped in the water. So let me write sodium plus at the center. Sodium plus at the center, and since Na plus is dropped in the water molecules or dropped in the beaker of the water, oxygen will be surrounding the sodium plus, or better I can say that water molecules have surrounded the sodium plus, and I said that oxygen will be having delta negative charge. Oxygen will be having delta negative charge. Therefore the delta negative of the oxygen will interact with the sodium plus. So oxygen minus will interact with the sodium plus. Now this interaction is completely electrostatic force of attraction. It is purely electrostatic attraction. So because of this kind of interaction, there will be some amount of energy released. So what we have done, we took sodium plus and we have dropped it in the water. So in the water molecule, oxygen is having negative charge and sodium is having plus charge. So water molecules will be surrounding the sodium plus. So this kind of interaction is called as hydration. It is called as hydration. So instead of the water, if I take any other solvent, and if that any other solvent, if it interacts in the same way, that will be called as salvation. That will be called as salvation. And about the salvation, you are going to study in the future. Right now you have to just understand hydration term. So this process is called as, or this phenomenon is called as hydration. And as I said that there will be electrostatic interaction between the O minus and the Na plus. So because of this kind of interaction, the Na plus will attain extra stability. It will attain extra stability. Since it is getting more stable, it has to lose some amount of the energy, because we know in the chemistry that higher the energy of the molecule, lower the stability. Lower the energy of the molecule, higher the stability. So by losing the energy, it will become more stable. So this is called as hydration. Now on this hydration, in the NEET examination, one question has been frequently asked. Yes, that is called as ionic mobility. It is called as ionic mobility. So now we need to understand what this ionic mobility means. So before going to this ionic mobility, let me tell you one small point about this hydration. Now assume that I will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will take 5 small beakers. I will take small 5 beakers, and these beakers will be having water. They will be having water, and in the 5 separate beaker, in one beaker I will add lithium, in one I will add sodium, in one I will add potassium, then rubidium and cesium. So separately I will be adding each cation in each beaker. Now which will be getting most hydrated? Which will be getting most hydrated? And which will be getting least hydrated? Which will be getting least hydrated? Most hydrated means more number of water molecules should be surrounding the cation. Now it has been seen that and observed that lithium plus has been most hydrated. Lithium plus, when lithium plus is added in the water, it is surrounded by more number of water molecules. So all these are water molecules. And oxygen will be having negative charge. So there will be interaction between the oxygen of the water and lithium plus. Even here also there will be water molecule. Yes, so lithium is most hydrated. That means lithium is surrounded by more number of the water molecules than any other alkali metal cation. So what is the reason behind this? Reason is simple. Small size of lithium plus. Since lithium plus is having small size, it will be surrounded by maximum number of the water molecules. So since it is most hydrated, since lithium is having most number of the water molecules, lithium after hydration, so in the examination it will be given like this: lithium aqueous. Lithium aqueous means hydrated lithium. So this will become very, very heavy. Because of its heaviness, its movement or its mobility will be less. It's a very, very important point for the competitive examination, especially for the NEET examination. Lithium is getting most hydrated. because of the most hydration, lithium aqueous will become very heavy, and because of its heavy nature, mobility, or I can say the moment or the speed with which lithium is moving in the solution, it will become lesser. Now let me take example of least hydrated. So cesium plus is having larger size. Cesium plus is having bigger size or larger size. So because of its bigger size and because of the screening effect, by the inner electron, this magnitude of the plus charge will be less on the cesium. So magnitude of the plus charge is less on the cesium. So because of this reason, cesium will be having only few water molecules surrounding that. So cesium is having only few number of the water molecules around that. That means cesium is least hydrated. Since it is least hydrated, its weight or its heaviness will be very lesser than the most hydrated lithium. Since it is least hydrated, it is having less weight. Because of this reason, it will be having most mobility. Or I can say that cesium plus will be most mobile in the aqueous solution. Mobile means it will be moving very fast in the solution. That is called as mobility of the ion. Yes, so this is about the mobility, and I will write the order of the mobility also, which has been asked in your NEET examination. I think it has been asked in the 2017. You can check that. I'll be solving this question in the competitive very soon. So cesium aqueous is more mobile than rubidium aqueous, which is more than potassium aqueous, which is further more than sodium plus aqueous, which is further more than lithium plus aqueous. So here cesium is least hydrated and lithium is most hydrated. So cesium is having maximum mobility and lithium is having least mobility. Why it is having most hydration? Because of its smaller size. So this is about hydration of the alkali metals, and this concept is the most important concept in this entire chapter for the NEET examination. So you have to concentrate on this topic. There should not be any doubt left in this topic. Fine. So let me next go to the physical properties. So physical properties of alkali metals. So in the physical property of the alkali metals, we are going to study about melting point, boiling point, metallic nature and flame coloration. So first one, melting point and boiling point. So lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. So melting point, what can be the meaning of the melting point? So you will be having a solid, and you will start to heat this solid. You are going to heat it continuously. So at one particular temperature, this solid will become liquid, or in more general term I can say that it will melt. So that temperature is called as melting point. And if I continue to heat it, even after it becomes liquid, eventually at one temperature it will start to boil. So that temperature is called as boiling point. So here alkali metals are generally having lower melting point and boiling point because they are having only single electron in their valence shell. So their metallic bonds are held by just single bonds. They are held by single bonds. Because of that, they will be having lesser melting point and boiling point. And as we go down the group, the melting point and the boiling point will decrease because their intermetallic bond will be getting weaker and weaker. So when we heat the solid, this heat will be used to break the bonds. So as we go down the group, the bond is becoming weaker. So I need less amount of heat to break the bond. So because of this reason, as we go down the group, melting point and boiling point will decrease. Next property is metallic nature. So as I have already discussed, all the S block elements are having metallic nature. That means they are good conductors of heat and electricity. They are malleable, ductile. The most important is they lose electron easily. So here, as we go down the group, the atomic size is increasing. Yes. So because of the increase in the atomic size, the distance between the outer electron and the nucleus will be increasing. Therefore, as we go down the group, electron will be lost more easily. Because of less attraction between the nucleus and the electron. That means as we go down the group, metallic nature will increase. And one more very important point is that as we go down the group, ionization energy also will decrease. Yes. And one more thing is, if I compare lithium and beryllium, among the lithium and beryllium, which will lose electron easily? Which loses electron easily? So what can be answer for this question? Among lithium and beryllium, which will lose electron easily? I can compare sodium and magnesium also. Yes. So remember that as we go from left to right side, electronegativity will increase. So if electronegativity increases from left to right side, that means in case of beryllium and magnesium, or I can say that generally in case of alkaline earth metals, electrons are little bit more tightly held than compared to alkali metals. So because of this reason, lithium and sodium and other alkali metals will lose electron more easily compared to that of alkaline earth metals. So let me go to the next topic, and that topic is called as flame coloration. That topic is called as flame coloration. So when you come for the chemistry lab, in the chemistry lab there will be a burner called as Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner. So what we need to do is, we can take lithium, or we can take sodium, or potassium, or rubidium, or cesium. We can take it on the spatula and we can put that on the Bunsen burner flame. So when we put that, each and every cation will give some different color. So Bunsen burner will be like this actually. It will be having some base here and it will be having some fume, and this flame will be of blue coloration. So whenever I take any of the cation and if I put that on the flame, some color is seen. Some color can be seen by the naked eye. So when I put the lithium plus on the flame, I get crimson red. I get crimson red. If I put sodium on the flame, I get yellow color. If I put potassium, I get violet color. If I put rubidium, I get red violet color. Cesium, blue coloration. So each and every alkali metal is giving different color when it has been put on the flame. So it is the characteristic property of each and every element. So if you want to identify which element has been given to you, you can just go for the flame test. It will be called as flame test, or it is also called as flame photometry. It is also called as flame photometry. Now a general question is going to come in your mind, that why these are showing colors? Why are they showing color when they have been thrown or when they have been put on the flame? So reason is simple actually. So let me take example of lithium. So lithium is having electronic configuration of 1s2 2s1. Atomic number is hydrogen, helium, lithium. Atomic number is 3. Now here, this 2s1 electron, this 1s2 electron is tightly held by the nucleus, so we cannot do anything to the 1s2 electron. Now this 2s1 electron, it is present in the second orbit, and there are some other orbits. So when lithium plus is held on the flame, assume that this is the flame, blue color will be there. So I am going to put some lithium on the flame. Immediately I am going to get some crimson red color. I can observe the red color. Then what actually is happening here is, the electron which is present in the 2s1 orbital is going to absorb the heat. It is going to absorb the heat. So after absorption of the heat, this electron is going to move to the next orbit, or I can say that next higher energy shell. So as I am going top, energy is increasing. So it is going to absorb the energy and it will jump to the next energy shell, which will be higher energy shell. Now assume that electron has reached a higher energy state. Now it is not going to stay there. Now this electron has jumped. This electron has jumped to the higher state. after absorbing the heat. Now after going there, it is not going to stay there. Again what will happen? This electron is going to come back. It is going to come back. So when it comes back, again whatever the energy was absorbed in the first step, that will be given back in the form of energy. It will be given back in the form of the energy. So what will happen first? Electron is there, that is going to absorb the heat, that will go to the higher state, which will be again coming back. When it comes back, energy will be liberated, and this energy will be in the visible region. It will be in the visible region of the electromagnetic spectrum. So that since it is in the visible region, we can observe whatever the color is emitted by the alkali metals by our naked eye. We can clearly observe that. So this is called as flame photometry. That means each and every element of the alkali metal will be giving some color in the flame. So this we can easily do and see in the chemistry laboratory during the salt analysis experiment. So the next topic in the S block element and under the alkali metals is reactivity of alkali metals with water. So how the alkali metals are going to react with water, that we have to study. So generally first I will take 2M, where M stands for metal, that may be lithium or sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. So it can be any one among the alkali metals. So this 2 metal will react with 2 moles of water, forming 2MOH, and metal will be having plus charge, OH will be having minus charge, and along with this hydrogen gas is liberated. So this hydrogen gas is highly flammable. It is highly flammable. So because of the evolution or liberation of the hydrogen gas, there will be fire whenever we drop alkali metals in the water. For example, I will take 2 sodium plus 2 moles of water, giving 2 moles of sodium hydroxide and 1 mole of the hydrogen gas. So here sodium hydroxide is basic solution. Sodium hydroxide is a basic solution. So in place of sodium I can take potassium also, and 2 molecules of water. I will get 2 KOH plus hydrogen gas, and even the KOH is also basic. So that means all the alkali metals, when they react with water, they are going to form basic solution of their respective hydroxides. And here as we go down the group, for example lithium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, rubidium hydroxide, and cesium hydroxide. So as we go down the group, their basic nature increases. Basic nature increases. So this increase in the basic nature is because of the increase in the size of the cation. So all of them are having plus minus charge here, that we should not forget. So what will happen actually is lithium is a cation and OH is an anion. So as we go down the group, the cation size will increase. So if I take example of cesium and OH, so here we can see that in case of lithium hydroxide, the distance between the plus and the minus is very small. So because of the small distance or less distance, attraction between the lithium plus and OH minus will be more. If attraction is more, OH minus will not be given easily. So bases are the compounds which gives OH minus. So if OH minus is given fast, then it will be called as strong base. If OH is given slowly, then it will be called as weak base. So in case of lithium hydroxide, because of the small distance between the cation and anion will be given slowly, therefore lithium hydroxide is a weak base. In case of cesium hydroxide, cation is larger. Because of that, distance between the cation and anion is more. If the distance is more, attraction will be lesser. If attraction is lesser, OH minus will be given faster. If it is given faster, this will be called as a stronger base. Now we know that all the alkali metals will react with water, producing hydrogen gas, which is flammable, which will catch fire, or sometime it may even explode. Because of this, alkali metals are kept in the kerosene, or they are kept in the petroleum ether. And whenever there is a fire because of the alkali metals reaction with the water, instead of using water to stop the fire, we have to use CCl4, that is called as pyrene. So whenever there is a fire, for example, assume that you took sodium and you added that in the water, obviously there will be fire. Yes, if you use water to again stop the fire, again water is going to react with sodium, it will cause more fire because of the liberation of the hydrogen gas. So because of this water, instead of the water, we have to use CCl4 to stop the fire of the alkali metals.